Back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.fm.
Welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It's another beautiful day in the Shire here. And we're talking about the pursuit of happiness. What even really is happiness? Is it different for you than it is for me? Well, I would think so. I would hope so.
I just spent the entire break thinking about that. And
this fella here, he said he's got a pig in a pen, and all he needs is a pretty girl to feed him when he's not at home.
Yeah.
And for him, that's happiness on a plate.
It's really a strange concept. And I mean, even the concept of finding happiness within the pursuit of happiness, because that's an eternal quest or a lifelong quest. No one is ever just going to reach this point where they go, all right, I'm happy. So the pursuit itself has to provide happiness. But if the pursuit provides happiness, then you have happiness and you're not pursuing it. It's very odd. It's a very strange concept. Like, it's almost as though, and I think I would say this without having given it a considerable amount of thought, that actively seeking out happiness will make people unhappy.
Okay.
I think that's my take on it. That because then you give yourself these desires. You embrace these wants, and you say, I want this.
Well, the world's built to break your heart. It's not here if and now, Tom, you'll back me up on this. At least in Christianity, as far as the way I used to understand it, this is not the place for a person of belief to find happiness. This is not our place of happiness. This is.
You mean this world?
Yeah,
this
the dunya.
reality?
This is prison for us. This is the place that you go to do your dues before you find happiness. The world
is not that extreme in Christianity.
The world is built to break your heart. If you're trying to find happiness in this life, you are going to be lacking.
Well, that's a very Buddhist concept as well. I mean, the first of the Four Noble Truths is that there is suffering.
Yes.
Yeah, Christianity's not quite that Spartan about it. I mean, the Bible does tell you don't store up your treasures on earth, store them up in heaven, but there is a difference in biblical philosophy between happiness, which is fleeting, and joy, which is something that you can have even in bad times. You know, having your security in your eternal fate and that sort of thing. But it's not like life is going to be suffering every single day. It's not like God wants you to suffer for your.
That's why the Buddhist maxim is there is suffering and not I suffer or I'm suffering.
Yeah,
it's just an acknowledgement that no matter where you go in the universe, there is suffering.
Exists.
There is death.
We live in Keene, which is a great little place, but if you look around, you see drug addicts, you see people like I've run into people that have just moved.
I mean, like 3 people have died right here on Marlborough Street since I got here.
Yeah.
From overdoses.
Yeah. The lady, when we went down to get my wife, she was switching her bank account. She had opened her TD account in Canada. And it turns out it's no good here at TD in America. So she was getting that fixed and the money's transferred and stuff. The lady that was there, she was like, I grew up here. And I was gone for 12 years. And I just don't like what's happened to it now that we've moved back. And I see what happened basically since 9/11, all of America. That was 9/11 is a turning point for this country.
Oh, for sure.
It really is.
And it's only going to be more so as you have generations who only have lived in the post 9/11 world.
Mm-hmm.
For all of them, the NSA is normal. Having all of our communications monitored is normal.
Yeah. Well, it's not only that, but poverty in this country, I think, has grown since then.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
The jobs that existed here then don't exist here now. They've all been sent overseas. And the people who had those jobs are all working menial jobs with college degrees that they're still trying to pay off. And you have what will most likely become generational poverty because of this. And it just shows how fleeting, like these people, these were people that they thought they'd found their happiness. Like they did what the school told you. You want to be happy when you grow up and you're an adult and you want to be successful? This is what you do. You go get a job in computers doing this job. And those jobs, not only will they always be here, but they'll pay more and more, and they'll be more and more as computers grow and everything gets bigger. And all those kids, my generation, we all went and got those jobs. And then we all got the degrees, all went and got nice jobs. And 3 years later, we went and bought, it's the plan. This is the plan. It's what our parents told us they did. It's what our grandparents told us they did. So we followed the plan. But when we hit our 3 years, we were buying houses for $300,000 that our parents would have bought for $45,000.
Yeah.
And not only that, but a year after we bought those houses, our employers were like, you know what? We can hire 3 of these techs in India for the same price we pay for 1 here. Boom. And now all of those people were stuck with houses that cost 3 times their value. And all this debt. On top of
if we got
debt
rid of the minimum wage, a lot of that would go away. Because, I mean, we're in a very real sense, we're competing with people in India for those jobs, and they don't mind making $1 per hour. Well, how am I supposed to get in with that employer if he's got a choice between hiring somebody for $1 an hour or hiring someone for $14.50 an hour?
Well, it's not even that. Like, they're making $20,000 a year to do a $70,000 a year in the U.S. tech job.
Yeah.
So it's not even about the minimum wage. You could pay minimum wage and make less than what, I mean, these guys make more, $20,000 a year is more than minimum wage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost double minimum wage almost. So the problem is that we were promised those jobs at specific salaries, and we paid tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands in some instances for degrees to do the job. And the kid in India, I'm still trying to understand, because like, how did he get the job without the degree, but I need one?
Oh, he's got a degree, but his government paid for it.
Well, in India...
it's not as valuable a degree as here, but...
Yeah, if he leaves India, his degree's worth nothing.
His degree got him a job.
Yeah, right?
True enough. True enough.
Ching.
And he didn't have to pay for it. And he's not continuing to pay for it.
Well, I mean, by any standard, I would say that his degree is
I don't think that college is socialized in India. I don't believe so.
Well, I mean,
we'll
they're
check on
socialized here in the
break.
U.S., and it's not hard to get the U.S. government to pay for your college if you put effort into it.
Yep. All right, when we get back here, you're welcome to give us a call, 603-283-6160. What do you think happiness is? What do you think the pursuit of happiness is? Again, 603-283-6160. We'll be right back.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work," especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in "I'll take anything" mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.fm.
And it makes a fiery ring, bound by wild desire. I fell into a ring of fire, 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 fire,
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been talking about the concept, the very concept of happiness and its pursuit and how it's viewed differently, culture to culture, faith to faith, person to person even. What makes me happy may make you miserable. And
well, I think
the context even of what makes me happy could change whether or not it makes you happy or makes me happy.
Well, I think in specific examples, that's probably true. I mean, when we get down to the details of what makes a person happy, sure, listening to loud rock music would make me happy and it would make another person miserable. But in a more general sense, occupying my time with something that I enjoy will make me happy. And occupying their time with something they enjoy will make them happy, regardless of what the details really are. And I think that ties into the discussion we were just having about India and jobs, because in a larger sense, it doesn't really matter whether or not those jobs went to India, because that whole path of, that we were talking about earlier, the Norman Rockwell thing, it wouldn't have provided very many people any sort of happiness anyway, except that it would have given them stability and ideally the financial, I don't want to say stability because that's not quite right, but the financial ability to pursue those things that they enjoy occupying their time with, instead of, having to work 2 40-hour-a-week jobs, which takes up all of their time doing things they don't enjoy, simply so that they can continue living, versus those jobs that we were talking about that would have been, 30 to 40 hours per week and would have left their nights and weekends available that they could have spent doing whatever they wanted to do.
Well, now, another point that was made that I wanted to make sure to cover was the concept of happiness service as a form of happiness, that you gain the gaining of happiness comes through service to others. And it reminded me of that Friends episode, there is no such thing as a good deed, because all selfless acts in the end somewhere are selfish acts.
Yeah, I would agree entirely.
Because there is a net gain. Even like
as he was describing, if you attempt to help others as the pursuit of your happiness, then you're still pursuing happiness for selfish reasons because you want to be happy.
Yeah.
It's
an end, not a means.
Yeah, there's no way to escape that. Everything we do is selfishly motivated because we want the head rush. We want the benefit. We want something out of it at all times.
A gain.
Yeah.
A net gain. Well, yeah, and even Tom, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Listening.
Just making sure. Even the what do you say? Like the Mother Teresas of the world, so to speak. You know, the Abdul Sattar Eddies, these big names who have done these big things, either through philanthropy or through individual acts of charity. There was some type of personal motivation outside of, well, these people are sick. Even if it was a theological motivation of either A, I'm doing it to make God happy, because B, that gets me something in the end, or just I have to say from personal experience, the literal high that you can get off of, like when I did the Ramadan thing the first year, I cooked like 9 hours solid, literally, and was bent. I didn't have all the stuff I have now, so that meant I was crooked over the entire time too.
Yeah.
And it was awful. But after the whole thing was done, I was walking 4 feet above the surface of the earth for the rest of the night. This endorphin rush, I guess you could call it. It wasn't the purpose for it, but it still existed. So there was still there was a purpose in it. Even if you're doing a good thing for a purpose, like I'm doing this because they need food. The fact that they have food now is a pleasurable thing to you.
Right.
I especially
agree.
if you're a
Selfish
person
creatures.
who's a believer in some kind of faith, or at least that's the way it should be. If
I
you
was
feel
about to
pleasure,
say,
if you feel pleasure for yourself, for like, oh, I feel I've done something good, then you're doing it. You have it backwards. You're doing it wrong.
At the same time, if you somehow manage to feel bad that someone else isn't suffering as much, you're also doing it wrong. There seems to be an unfortunate amount of that in the world today.
Yeah, there's too much Schadenfreude out there. There's even a specific hadith that states flat out, like, it is not the way of the believer to find joy in the suffering of others, even their enemies. Like, you shouldn't enjoy seeing people suffer. The Abu Jahl, who tortured and murdered many, many early Muslims and used his position of power and influence to prevent the growth of the Muslim community, chase the Muslims out of Mecca. So, it all revolves around Abu Jahl. And when he contracted what is described basically what we would know today as horrifying skin cancer all over, the Prophet ﷺ still prayed for him and never spoke in a way that celebrated that happened, and said so, and told others not to do so. And now we see, regardless of faith or lack thereof, people really kind of get off on watching people they disagree with suffer, even if it's unjustly.
Well, it's always unjustly, I would say. But it's an epidemic. Because we dehumanize those people who we don't like, who disagree with us. And because they've been dehumanized to that extent, I don't know, or we're all sociopaths, you know.
We're getting very close to the point that we are all sociopaths, like all of human society.
I mean, you have that woman who's now the editor with the New York Times openly saying that, you know, she enjoys watching the suffering of white women. It doesn't matter if it's racist or not. That's still a horrific thing to say. It's terrible to enjoy the suffering of others.
It is. It is.
And,
I mean,
you know...
Go ahead, Tom.
I think part of it goes back to the idea that you are putting your happiness stock into the wrong parts of the happiness stock market. So that...
I like that.
You know,
right.
Because a lot of the bitterness at other people doing well comes from the fact that you measure your own happiness by stupid measures. Whether it's your own... not just financial success or stability, you measure whether you're happy or not by whether you made as much money as your parents did. Or on the more insidious side, you measure your happiness by how many other people there are in the world that look and think like you, such that when people who don't look and think like you are doing well, you get butthurt and lose your happiness for no good reason. And that's
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone, and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Join Daryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he brings you news, views, and opinions while promoting the ideas of peaceful interaction.
My personal position on the death penalty is this. We know for a fact that there have been hundreds of people who have been wrongly convicted for various offenses. People who were wrongly convicted of murder and who were sentenced to death, who have later been exonerated. And from that, we can deduce that there have been innocent people who were executed for crimes they did not commit. And the fact that I do consider myself to be consistently pro-life, I don't support using taxpayer funds to kill any human at all, anywhere. Using any money that is taken by force and then used to murder people is wrong.
Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
Rick? Hey, Morty. Rick? Are you far away or are you inside something? Is the camera? Is everything a camera?
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from our Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and we are having a discussion today about happiness. Now, if you were listening, some people think happiness is some free money, and you had an opportunity. Give us a call, 603-283-6160, to win yourself some free motion coins. Again, that's 603-283-6160. And
what a tie-in! What a tie-in, Will.
Thank you. Again, you also are welcome to call and just get involved in the conversation. Again, we are talking about happiness. The pursuit of happiness. Because, see, there's this idea on the left, first of all, that you have a right to be happy, when that's not true. You have a right to pursuit of happiness. You don't have a right to the same outcomes for those pursuits.
You know, I think I would say that we do have a right to happiness. What we don't have is the right to extract happiness from other people.
Explain.
Well, we have the right to define our own happiness in whatever ways that we like. And accordingly, we can define our happiness, you know, with directed conscious effort as sitting on a desert island meditating.
I love Rumi. You ever heard of Rumi?
Mm-mm.
He's a famous 12th century Persian poet. You know his name because...
Why would I have heard of him?
Well, my son's Jalal is named after him.
Okay.
Jalaluddin Muhammad al-Rum. Rumi comes from the fact that he was from the West. And basically everything that's Europe or anything that's not the Muslim lands was Rome. So he was a Roman. And he said this place, carnal, because we spoke about this earlier about, you know, life being kind of a prison for the for people. This place is a dream. Only a sleeper considers it real. Then death comes like dawn, and you wake up laughing at what you thought was your grief. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
And
I
in
mean,
the
I
end,
obviously
the
don't
love
agree.
you take is equal to. Sorry, seemed to fit in there.
I mean, I do agree that this life is really esoteric. It's not worth getting worked up about, as people tend to do.
Right.
Investing so much in this or that when, I mean, really, it's just, you know, you're here, you exist, and then you die. And, you know, from the religious person's perspective, then you go on to other things. From my perspective, then you just rot in the ground.
Oddly enough, you know, that kind of ties into what we were talking about a few days ago about, you know, the cosmic self. Is humanity really is insignificant? And check this out. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop.
Yeah, and I would agree with that as well.
Dude, well, Cannabis Hour is not until the last segment of the show.
This is Rumi. Well, I mean, he was a Sufi, so.
I was about to say.
But I mean, from my perspective,
this wasn't a pothead. This was a holy man, he said, as though the two were mutually exclusive.
Right.
It's not that, we're going to wake up and realize that this didn't matter. I would say that this doesn't matter now, and that the point is to erase all of that from within so that you don't care about the crap that doesn't matter, which liberates you to pursue the things
that do,
such as your own happiness and things of that nature. I mean, whether or not there is something after this life, I think it would probably really be immaterial when it comes to happiness in this life. I mean, if you're constantly looking out there toward the distant goal, then you're not going to be happy because you're always moving toward that distant goal. So you just kind of have to stop and enjoy what's going on. And whether or not that would be defined as hedonism by religious people or, just existing for non-religious people, I think either way, happiness in this life would be important, at least to the person who is living in this life.
But, okay. Go ahead, Tom. I think Aria shut everybody up for a second.
I'm rewinding in my head.
Did I win this segment?
Did you what?
Did I win this segment?
Right.
I would hope we all win because I thought the whole point of the end of this was happiness.
It was
and
a
happiness
joke, Tom.
I think the one thing that we have all managed to agree on here, and possibly for the first time on this show, everybody agreeing on something, is that happiness is good.
I don't know. Did Nietzsche think happiness was good, Aria?
Who cares about Nietzsche?
Well, I said at the beginning that he would have described it in the context of happiness is contentment with one's fate. He would have described that as nihilistic, without a doubt. So, I mean, by that metric, it would be bad, because if a person is happy and content, then they're not working on improving themselves.
What a douche.
Huh.
But
okay, well, see, because for me, for the Muslim, contentment is working on oneself. The betterment of oneself is where one finds contentment.
Yeah, and that's the oxymoron that we got into in the first segment, which is pursuing happiness or finding happiness within the pursuit of happiness is having happiness, and therefore no need to pursue it. So it's kind of, like I said then, I don't think that one can consciously seek out to be happy.
Okay, successfully.
Yeah, and
okay.
And I would say that, seeking out specifically to do something that makes you happy is more than likely going to make you unhappy, because it's not going to live up to what you expected. And that would be the simplest example of the pursuit of happiness ultimately leading to unhappiness, but there are countless. And just the most obvious would be that, this threesome was not as good as I expected.
Oh, those are all, that's the way it always goes.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. But it's not just true of threesomes, obviously. It's, oh, I really want to try that chocolate cake. It looks so delicious. And then you have it, and it's like, well, I think I enjoyed thinking about what it could be more than I did eating it.
Now, hold on. I have never been nearly as disappointed by chocolate cake as I have been during some of my romantic exploits.
I'm going to have to go with Tom on that one.
Tom is correct.
Chocolate has never let me down the way some women have.
Oh, man, you need to try like a 94% cacao chocolate bar. It will let you down.
No. Hershey bars let me down.
Hershey's is like junk food chocolate. I like it, but I know that it's not chocolate, and it's the equivalent of eating a bag of chips instead of, a steak.
If chocolate was books of the Bible, Hershey bars would be Obadiah.
I was thinking the infancy Gospels of Thomas, but okay.
That would be white chocolate, because it's not real chocolate, and that's not real Bible.
If it was a phone, it would be an iPhone.
Oh, Arya says that just because she knows I have eye devices.
No, I didn't know that.
Actually, Hershey's would be the iPhone of chocolate. It's the trendy stupid thing that everybody has.
But in defense of Hershey's, their chocolate syrup, nothing tops it.
I would be extraordinarily surprised to find out that there's real chocolate in that.
It doesn't matter if it's real chocolate. It's incredible.
Nah, I take it you've never had Godiva or Ghirardelli's.
I've had a lot of chocolate syrups.
I've got the powder. I have Kenyan Cadbury chocolate powder at home. If you want to try that out.
I may have to now.
Hey, we
apply nihilism to chocolate syrup. It doesn't matter if it's real.
It surprises you that the nihilists did that?
Maybe it shouldn't.
But I mean, it doesn't ultimately matter. The question would be whether or not I enjoy it, to bring it back to what we were discussing. And the answer is I do enjoy it. And it doesn't matter to me whether or not it's real chocolate because I enjoy it.
All right. Well, when we get back here in just a little while, we're going to have a discussion. We're going to be in our crypto hour, and we're going to be talking about how much influence does the Security Exchange Commission have over crypto prices. It might surprise you when we get back here on the Call to Freedom.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you can go this way? You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, August 13th, 2018. Silver's trading at $15.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,199 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,454. Antiwar.com reports a pair of 5-story residential buildings collapsed Sunday in northern Syria's Idlib province after the rebel arms depot in the basement exploded. At least 39 civilians were killed in the incident, including a number of children. Details are still emerging on exactly what caused the explosion, but early reports suggest an accident. The explosion tore the facade off the building it was beneath, doing disastrous amounts of damage. As of Sunday evening, aid workers were still pulling bodies from the wreckage, and the death toll could thus rise further. The explosion explosion took place in the village of Sarmada along the border with Turkey. The location of such a large depot so close to Turkey suggests that the rebels may have been smuggling weapons in through that area. Idlib is expected to be the center of a major battle in the months to come, as it is effectively the last major rebel-held territory in Syria, and the Assad government has said that, failing any negotiated deal, they will reunify the country by force. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. UPI reports the largest of several wildfires burning throughout the state of California destroyed nearly 30 homes over the weekend, according to fire officials on Sunday. The Mendocino Complex fire, made up of the ranch and river fires, destroyed a total of 146 homes as of Sunday morning, up from 119 on Thursday, according to CAL FIRE. Another 118 non-residential structures were destroyed by the blaze and 37 structures were damaged, including 13 residences. Overall, 1,025 structures remain threatened by the 331,399-acre wildfire, which became the largest in California's history last week. CAL FIRE said the blaze is about 70% contained as of Sunday morning and is expected to be fully contained by September 1st. A total of 3,422 fire personnel have been assigned to combat the blaze, and 2 firefighters have sustained injuries. There have been no reports of civilian deaths or injuries related to that fire. Mandatory evacuation orders remained in effect for Lake, Mendocino, and Colusa counties as of Sunday. CAL FIRE officials said the 191,211-acre Carr fire was 59% contained as of Sunday morning. A total of 8 people have been killed in that blaze, including 2 firefighters. The fire has also destroyed 1,077 residences, 22 commercial structures, and 500 outbuildings, and damaged 191 residences, 21 commercial structures, and 65 outbuildings. More than 4,600 firefighters have responded to that blaze, which began on July 23rd as a result of a mechanical failure of a vehicle. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a white nationalist rally in the heart of Washington, D.C. drew about 24 demonstrators and thousands of chanting counter-protesters on Sunday, the one-year anniversary of racially charged violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. A large police presence kept the two sides separated in Lafayette Square in front of the White House. After 2 hours and a few speeches, the Unite the Right 2 rally ended early when it began to rain, and 2 police vans took the demonstrators back to Virginia. Sunday's events, while tense at times, were a far cry from the street brawls that broke out in downtown Charlottesville a year ago when a local woman was killed by a man who drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. Unite the Right 2 had been denied a permit in Charlottesville this year, but did secure one for Washington, D.C. Organizers had planned for up to 400 protesters. At the head of the white nationalist group was Virginia activist Jason Kessler, who organized last year's events in Charlottesville. He emerged with a handful of fellow demonstrators from a subway station holding the American flag and walked towards the White House ringed by police, while counter-protesters taunted the group and called them Nazis. Police said as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday they had made no arrest and further would not give a crowd estimate. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The only nation where this regularly happens concludes that there's no way to prevent this. A college rape victim is pretty thrilled about recounting her assault to a faculty committee, and the nation's depressed individuals march on the Atlantic Ocean. This is the Onion Week in Review. Secretary of Veterans Affairs Eric Shinseki announced plans this week to improve healthcare for American veterans with a new $500 million state-of-the-art waiting room. The 150,000 square foot complex will reportedly feature a wide selection of magazines, 2 water coolers, and receptionists who will immediately give veterans vague answers about how long they can expect to sit there before receiving inadequate healthcare. And in this week's commentary, a local man finds owning a cat is a great way to meet women who magically appear in your living room. In other news, a new study finds employee morale drastically improves after watching a coworker throw a fit. A wise oracle proclaims to all at a barbecue that he felt a raindrop. and an elderly man is hailed as alert.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hodl.
You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by motionproject.org here on the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's time for the Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour here on LRN.FM. We got a story here for you guys. It says, bull or bear? How exactly does SEC action correlate with market prices? And that's been the what was blamed for both the big spike up to 8,000 in Bitcoin prices and the subsequent drop to around $6,200-$6,300 today. Is that the SEC was supposed to do something and they didn't, and then investors pulled their money out or something, is what I had heard. Earlier this week, cryptocurrency markets slumped. Bitcoin lost its $6,500 support, and Ethereum dropped well below the $400 mark. While it's important to remember that on such a volatile and scarcely regulated market, news might affect the prices to a lesser degree, and a recent drop correlated with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission's decision to postpone its verdict on the listing and trading of a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund until late September, the SEC has gained the reputation of being a major newsmaker in the cryptocurrency field. The watchdog's decision toward the market have been associated with a number of price drops and bull runs. In July of 2017, the SEC came through with a major decision, putting its mark of interest on the crypto market. The regulator reviewed the infamous Decentralized Autonomous Organization case and concluded that the DAO tokens issued via its initial coin offering back in 2016 were in fact securities and hence had to register with the SEC beforehand. By making that move, the SEC effectively showed that many other ICOs, which were abundant during the unregulated free run through the 2016-2017 period, might be in trouble as well.
I mean, the only thing wrong with their theory is that the latter half of 2017, after July of 2017, was marked by the largest expansion in the cryptocurrency industry that we have ever seen.
True.
I think everyone is looking for reasons why prices are falling off a cliff. But this, to me, it sounds no different than the whole, it's the Lunar New Year fault thing that we cover, or the monsoon season, or whatever it was that we covered back in January or February. I mean, it's happening. We don't know why. I'm sure it feels better for them to sit back and go, it's the SEC's fault. Now I understand, but we don't. Values are plummeting because there's no demand for it. Or the demand for it is decreasing, I should say.
Well, what they're saying is that when the SEC deemed the DAO tokens to be illegal securities, the market went slightly bearish.
I mean, it may have temporarily. But, I mean, whether or not we can attribute that to the SEC and their decision or not, because, I mean, they go slightly bearish every other day.
Well, check this out, though. 1 year later, the SEC denies second Winklevoss ETS application. Alleged reaction, slightly bearish. Well, maybe it's just because it's July.
Could be.
Maybe markets just go down in July.
But it's August now, and we're still plummeting.
Yeah.
Severely, it's depressing.
The prospect of getting an authority-sanctioned crypto-backed ETF has been widely discussed in the crypto community. Some believe that it will provoke mass adoption and the price will ascend, while others remain skeptical, leaning toward crypto-anarchist sentiments. The SEC gets to decide if the industry's ready for an ETF, and the watchdog hasn't been particularly optimistic thus far. In either case, the market tends to react to the most ETF-related news. A stark example is the recent SEC denial of the Winklevoss twins' second application on July 26, which happened just prior to the latest ETF-induced panic in the market. The SEC wasn't convinced by the Winklevoss plea that Bitcoin markets are inherently resistant to manipulation, which was among the primary reasons for the rejection.
I would say that if it was really that big of a deal, we would have heard about it before now.
As mentioned above, the Winklevoss brothers had tried registering. Oh, I heard about it, but I didn't think it, like everybody knew that it had happened. It wasn't that, it's like, oh, so the ETF thing got turned down again. Okay.
Yeah.
That was how I reacted to it. Evidently, according to them, the market doesn't react to it very well. The Winklevoss brothers tried to register a Bitcoin ETF before. Their first attempt was in 2013. That time, it took the SEC 4 years to come up with a decision. Finally, March 10th of last year, the agency denied the application based on concerns that significant markets for Bitcoins are unregulated. Both times, the market reacted negatively. In March 2017, the price of Bitcoin fell from $1,300 to around $1,100 in a single day. In July of 2018, Bitcoin lost $400 within a span of just 3 hours, although it managed to regain its value within the following 24 hours. Okay, that's really...
that's just Bitcoin. I don't know what else to say at this point. It loses $400 pretty regularly because $400 no longer represents a substantial chunk of its total value.
August of this year, the SEC denied Van Eck SolidX and an ETF request. That reaction, strongly bearish. Similar this catastrophic week on the crypto markets, largely associated with the SEC postponing its decision on the listing and trading of a Bitcoin ETF powered by investment firm Van Eck and financial services company SolidX until September the 30th. The Van Eck SolidX ETF application was submitted in June and was generally considered to be the most promising among crypto-backed ETFs. It didn't feature bold assumptions akin to the one submitted by the Winklevoss twins that claimed Bitcoin markets are inherently resistant to manipulation. Moreover, the Van Eck SolidX fund is physically backed, meaning that it will actually hold Bitcoin. And both firms have reassured that this will protect against the loss or theft of the cryptocurrency. According to their filing with the SEC, each share of the Van Eck SolidX Bitcoin Trust is set to cost a hefty $200,000. As SolidX CEO Daniel Galancy explained on CNBC, the price is set at a higher rate to focus on institutional investors, and the fund hopes to get listed on the CBOE BZX Equities Exchange. August 7th, the SEC issued a document citing their right to extend the review period. It also stated that the agency had received more than 1,300 comments on the proposed rule change to list and trade the Van Eck SolidX BTC shares. Per the document, within 45 days of the filing of a proposed rule change, the trust submitted their application on June 6th, or within 90 days should the commission deem necessary. The commission will approve, disapprove, or extend the period of consideration. So,
correlation does not equal causation.
Yeah, I know.
If they're pointing to all of these examples of the SEC doing things that are negative toward crypto that caused, crypto values to go down, I would ask what the SEC did that caused crypto values to go up in fall of last year.
the announcement of trade on the CBOE is what was supposed to have caused that. So yeah, that's same thing.
The
SEC
increase
supposedly.
from 7,000 to 20,000.
We'll get into that when we get back.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from our Zencash studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. Another beautiful day here in the Shire. Ari over there freezing to death because the first day it's been below 90 in a week.
It is. It's cold. I thought I had a long sleeve shirt with me. I do not. It's terrible.
Yeah. You need to start, find you some stuff. Grab you some long
I've got
sleeves.
plenty. It's just, it's August, so didn't expect to need one.
Yeah, well, you ain't in Kansas anymore. This ain't Mississippi. You gonna freeze. It's gonna be fun.
During the middle of August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fall.
Fall doesn't start until September. Well, I guess here it starts during August, apparently.
Hell, fall starts in September. In August, used to start in August in Tennessee 20 years ago.
I was about to say that's not been any time recently.
No, when we were kids,
fall doesn't start down here until November 5th or so.
Yeah, I know. But when I was a kid growing up, you had to wear a sweatsuit underneath your Halloween costume. You remember those days, Tom?
No, but then again, I never really did much trick-or-treating.
Oh, okay.
I lived on a big hill by the time
I'm older than you, ain't I? Like 6 years older than you?
Thereabouts, but it's not really sign of the times type stuff. It's just I lived on a big hill. And by the time you got done going to the neighbor's house, you were winded.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
your journey was over.
Though. I had an aunt that lived like right in the middle of downtown Lenore City in the neighborhood districts. So we would just go to my aunt's house and they would make my cousin, who was 5 years older than me, walk me around the neighborhood with my bag. And my aunt and my mom and my dad and my uncle would play cards. They would play Rook or whatever.
Yeah, Arya, the flip side of living on a big hill is that nobody makes it to your house, so at the end of the night, you get all the leftover candy anyway. So, potato.
Fair enough. Still, I mean, you get more variety if you go. Yeah, but you get crap more often than not. I mean, at least you do in the modern world.
Not when you're the one, like your parents take you to the store, and what's the hot candy this year? And you're like, that one over there that I happen to like.
Right.
It's what all the kids want.
Well, yeah, I didn't complete my entire thought out loud. I was referring to, going out and getting it, providing greater variety, but then you get stuff that, you get like a dumb sucker. Smarties was the first thing that came to mind for me as well.
Right.
Here's a dumb sucker that you could get for free at the bank.
Right.
That kind of thing.
So the argument this guy's put forth here is that basically the crash we saw at the end of July was because of one ETF for the Winklevoss twins. And then this one here says that Bitcoin saw a $500 loss in 6 hours, lost 12% over the course of the last week, and caused a crash across the market, listing Ripple. And it's 23% loss. We can only get that number to triple or quadruple even. On the other hand, bullish news on the market that came out recently, announcements of upcoming cryptocurrency project backed, BAKKT, by the Intercontinental Exchange, which operates 23 large global exchanges, including New York Stock Exchange, appeared to be largely ignored. In an interview with CNBC, Pantera Capital CEO Dan Morehead claimed that investors are overreacting to the SEC postponing the ETF hearing. He predicted that a Bitcoin ETF approval will take quite a long time, citing that the nascent stage of crypto adoption. The hedge fund manager also stressed that the most recent asset that gained approval from the SEC for ETF certification was copper, a metal that's been on Earth and used by man for over 10,000 years.
I mean, what is the significance of Bitcoin and ETF? I mean, why would an ordinary person, why would this affect them?
It opens Bitcoin up to institutional investors. It means Goldman Sachs can start buying Bitcoin futures.
Okay, so things we don't want.
Yeah, exactly. Things we don't actually want. So here's what they're saying is that the bump that everyone saw in February of 2018, well, that's because the CFTC and the SEC held a joint meeting where they recognized the importance of cryptocurrencies.
What bump are they referring to?
Well, on February the 6th, the SEC, along with the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission, held a highly anticipated joint hearing, which they elaborated on their stance toward cryptocurrencies, ICOs, and blockchain technology in general. During the meeting, the regulators gave credit to the cryptocurrency industry for adding a new paradigm to the financial system, stressed the importance of fair regulatory frameworks, and famously said, quote, "If there was no Bitcoin, there would be no blockchain." Consequently, that actually promoted a bullish trend, according to the author, and the community reaction following the hearing had a positive effect on the crypto markets overall, which was staggering at the time, likely due to China reiterating its zero tolerance of crypto, rumors of bans in India, and some mainstream banks prohibiting cryptocurrency purchase with their credit cards, all coming out around the same time. After the CFTC and SEC showed their positive stance on crypto, some crypto industry features like Bitcoin and Ethereum saw 20% increases in value, as well as the rest of the cryptocurrency market rallying into the green. Another bump that the author claims comes from the SEC, the one we just saw here this past June. The SEC's approach to cryptocurrencies is still not crystal clear. However, at this point, it becomes evident that while the agency considers most ICOs to be securities, the two leading cryptos, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are not seen as such. That sentiment was recently voiced by Joy Clayton, the chair of the SEC, who declared that Bitcoin is not a security because it acts as a replacement for sovereign currencies. Replace the dollar, the yen, the euro with Bitcoin. That type of currency is not a security. Soon after that news broke, Bitcoin's price went from $7,500 to $7,700 within 24 hours, showing a slight growth.
That's hardly an increase worth noting. I mean, $200 one way or the other. I mean, that's a Saturday afternoon for Bitcoin.
For real.
But I'm curious, how did we get all of these people involved in cryptocurrency who give a tiniest amount of crap what the state does? Screw that. I don't care if the state does this or that to Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum or whatever, because screw the state. The whole point of
the Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
So you guys hear him. You know what that usually means. Carlos Matos means somebody's about to lose some money.
Are we going to have a discussion about fiat?
Right. Actually, we're going to do an update. We're doing an update on a story that we ran last week about a scam that was going on. We ran it on Friday.
Bitcoin ATMs?
On Bitcoin ATMs. That's correct. I sent you this, didn't I?
You did not.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, well, General Bytes is sending out a company newsletter today, not today, 2 days ago, discussing that very story. ZDNet and Trend Micro recently published an article on malware for sale on the dark web claiming to be able to rob Bitcoin ATMs from the cash in the machine. We researched the malware claim, found the offering to be a scam, but because none of the blogs bothered to contact us, they were effectively helping the scammer with free advertising.
You know, I was thinking about this as well, and the reality of it is that even if it did work, you would have to have a Bitcoin ATM that was seeing hundreds of people purchasing from it an hour in order to get enough crypto to make your money back before the owner of the ATM realized that something was wrong.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was not good from the start.
Well, it says here that they were giving him free advertising and luring would-be thieves into purchasing a non-existent hack. Okay, you have to admit, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh no, some thieves tried to buy some thieving software and it didn't work.
Yeah, right? The scam here is that the seller of this malware gets free advertising from otherwise reputable blogs that apparently do not verify what they publish. And the would-be thieves would never report being ripped off because of the nature of the product sold.
Can we go back to...
That's not true at all. The black market is filled with, marketplaces with people trying to sell things that are illegal that still get feedback and people saying, hey, don't buy this. This guy won't actually send out your stuff, or this ransomware doesn't work, or whatever. Buying malware on the black market on the dark web is relatively common, and there are absolutely plenty of ways. I mean, I don't think it's as clear-cut as Amazon reviews and 5 stars and all of that, but there are absolutely ways to call people on selling things that don't work.
Can we go back for a minute to the idea of reputable blogs that don't check what they publish?
Okay.
Isn't that a per se oxymoron? Like, how are you reputable if you publish stuff without checking what you're publishing first? Who's repping you?
Well, no, that's what they're saying, is that these are blogs that they thought were reputable.
The difference between thought they were reputable and otherwise reputable.
Exactly.
They clearly should not be reputable at all in the first place.
Well, I mean, they never claimed that the hack worked. They just said it's being sold. And that was true. It was being sold.
Well, they told you how it was supposed to work if it did. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Says the so-called malware is offered for sale on the dark web on the dark web website named Wall Street Market. There are several red flags here. First, the malware seller reputation on the dark market shows that they've never sold any malware before, and the account was only created in November of 2017. The malware vendor has only sold leaked customer data with leaked bank credit card scoring documents or bank accounts established based on those leaked customer details in the past. As such, this is clearly not a developer that has any experience in selling hacks or custom code. Just identity theft from old school financial institutions. Bitcoin ATMs manufactured by General Bytes have no functionality that will enable dispensing cash prior to successfully receiving cryptocurrency via cryptocurrency network or sending cryptocurrency before successfully accepting cash inside of the machine. The seller claims purchasers of the malware also receive a ready-to-use card that comes with EMV and NFC capabilities. Anyone who's ever used a Bitcoin ATM knows that EMV cards have absolutely nothing to do with Bitcoin ATMs, and the NFC functionality is only used to read the destination cryptocurrency address. The mentioned engineering menu, known from regular ATMs, doesn't exist on General Bytes Bitcoin ATMs, and any factory test software doesn't contain any functionality that would enable ATMs to send coins, accept cash, or dispense cash. Compared to regular ATMs, security measures on cryptocurrency ATMs are light years ahead. Partly achieved by the distributed nature of Bitcoin ATMs, there's no central point of attack. The machines or network running them and there's no such thing as a free money admin panel. Security audits are performed on a regular basis by the manufacturer, and internal source code is subject to peer review and auditing by the white hat hacker community. Unlike regular ATMs, there's a close relation between Bitcoin ATM operators and the cryptocurrency ATM manufacturer, and software is updated multiple times per month. We recommend Trend Micro, ZDNet, and any other media outlets who write about Bitcoin ATMs contact us before publishing articles. This will help them get their facts straight and will prevent them from turning into an advertising channel for a scammer. We can give any reporter a complete overview of how Bitcoin ATMs work, what's possible, what's downright nonsense. We hope to have cleared up this confusion, and the article, no matter how badly written, is being copy-pasted now to several news outlets. There's no reason to worry, but we felt we needed to respond to this. Sincerely, Carol Kayovsky, CEO of General Bytes, GeneralBytes.com.
I can't imagine very many people, if anyone on this entire planet, read the articles and was like, I'm going to go buy this for $25,000. I mean, maybe.
Oh, no, yo. I'm sure there's some people that were like.
For $25,000? Nah.
Bitcoin prices are up. Up. They're like,
they're down to like 6,300.
I just buy like 5 Bitcoin and I make all my money back at a profit.
There is indeed a sucker born every minute.
Yeah, and they're thinking they're probably suckers that don't realize that Bitcoin ATMs ain't got no 50 grand or 25 grand inside of them like a regular. They got whatever somebody's put into them.
Well, they're not trying to get the cash.
They are. One of us said it would make it spit out cash. That's what he was saying. He's like, these machines aren't even designed to do that. They don't even have an outlet for cash. They do. Well, some Bitcoin ATMs, yeah, the ones here in town, there's only one that does.
Yeah.
The other one, it's only input.
Yeah, you're correct. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Some of them do. It's so funny.
I mean, it would be, first of all, $25,000 would be, that's really steep for something that doesn't work. I mean, obviously, right? But, you know, you would expect it to be like 1,000 or 1,500 if it didn't work. Because, I mean, that's more, I can invest 1,500.
Nah, man, he just needed one dummy, man. All you need is one dummy. One dummy, and you're good. You're golden. Because what are they going to do? I bought this software so I could hack somebody's ATM, and it doesn't work, man.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
After the USDA unveiled its updated roommate food pyramid earlier this week, Department of Agriculture spokesman Michael Lowry spoke to Onion reporters about just how many servings of someone else's food roommates should be consuming on a day-to-day basis.
Under the new guidelines, roommates should eat at least 4 portions of someone else's grains per day, including 1 to 2 cups of already opened cereal. Of course, this is all in addition to the 8 to 16 swigs of milk and orange juice spaced out over a few days.
Lowry emphasized that many aspects of the new roommate food pyramid are unchanged from the previous version, including a recommended daily intake of 24 ounces of lunch meat straight from the bag and 5 to 7 weekly finger scoops of Erica's peanut butter.
Remember to limit your intake of sugar and sweets from half-open containers, especially if they're Jessica's, because she'll definitely notice.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network. Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our ZenCast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. We are in the final segment of our crypto hour on this Monday drive home broadcast. And, well, we've been talking about all kinds of stuff. Turns out that story that we got from Trend Micro last week was just Trend Micro advertising for some guy who was scamming people.
Well, based on the quality of their antivirus software, I can't pretend to be too surprised.
Oh, I wish I didn't have to concur, but that's what we use for our corporate security at work. And
well, antivirus is the ultimate scam. It's the ultimate sell people non-working software that doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So they're the experts in advertising software that doesn't work and charging people obscene amounts of money for it.
And then if you're an IT vendor and you're trying to convince people that your security is good, and they're like, well, tell us about your antivirus. And you're like, well, we have, redundant dedicated firewalls over here, and we've got switch-based stuff over here, and we've got, role-based access control. But tell us about your antivirus.
Yep.
And what do you have?
We got the same stuff everybody else has, and that's all they want to hear. It's the same stuff everybody else has.
I have not installed an antivirus on a client's computer in probably 5 years. And they always ask, I thought we had an antivirus. Oh, well, you did. It just wasn't software running on the computer, taking up space and being otherwise useless. It was me. I am your antivirus.
And hopefully your other personnel are.
Yeah, not usually.
Not usually.
It's like that meme that was going around on Facebook. Yeah, people who do what we do are generally bad at what we do.
Oh yeah,
the one about voting machines.
Yeah, like if they give it, like they're gonna do it with they're gonna do it with blockchain. He's like, kill it with fire, and then wash your hands afterward.
No, what I love is the other part, like the other two parts of that cartoon. It's like talking to an elevator engineer about elevators. Oh yeah, this friggin' elevator's got so many redundancies, it's virtually impossible for it to fall. Talking to a bridge engineer about bridges. You could drive 1,000 trucks a day across this bridge for 100 years and it would still be here. Talking to a computer engineer about electronic voting. No.
Yeah.
Just no. Don't trust people who do what we do to do what we do.
It's so true. God, it's painfully true. Speaking as someone who does what we do, but who I would say is not bad at it, because I do actually take IT security seriously, it's painfully true how many people don't.
Although the one difference between people in IT and people elsewhere are people in IT are much more willing to tell the truth about their deficiencies. The problem is that the clients or the outside customers want to hear the lie.
They do. They want to hear they're protected, not that antiviruses are useless.
And when they can't get the actual tech people to tell them the lie, they'll keep going up the chain until they find somebody in the C-suite who will tell them the lie.
Yeah.
And then the guy in the C-suite, when something breaks down, will go, I told the customer, bloggity blah, and you'll be like, well, you didn't ask me first.
Yeah.
Where is the story? I accidentally closed the link for our next story.
But I mean, the best antivirus software out there is to use user account control so that the users cannot install anything. Because that's, I mean, yeah, people can still, hack it and exploit and use exploits to get into the system, but 99% of the times it's because some idiotic user clicked something they shouldn't have, and now they have a virus.
Or answers a phone call they shouldn't have, or it's the actual figure is somewhere in the neighborhood of 63% of computer compromises are user error.
I would expect it to be much higher, just going from personal experience. But I did this once. I tested my clients out by sending them poorly written. Yeah, you know me. Whenever I write something, I use correct grammar. Poorly written freaking emails asking them for their Windows password, their QuickBooks password, and all of this other crap that I never ever need. And without fail, every single one of them just responded within an hour telling me information that I didn't need. Their passwords. It was clear, and I used a fake email address that they had never heard of. I was like, hey, I'm locked out of my main account, but go ahead and tell me your Windows password and your QuickBooks password, please, so I can access all of your financial information for the company for the last 15 years. Okay, here you go.
Dummy.
Every single time. Not one of them said, something about this doesn't seem right.
Don't do that. Morons.
Yeah. Even attorneys who you would, no offense, Tom, but my attorney clients who I would expect to know better didn't.
You really shouldn't expect attorneys to when it comes to technology.
I guess
especially not anybody who's been in practice 20 years or more. The attorneys who have the money for technology are the attorneys you should trust the least with technology.
Hold on, repeat that, please.
The attorneys who can afford the technology are the attorneys you should trust the least with technology.
I guess that's true in a general sense. Well, I guess that's true for everyone, really. I mean, I wouldn't want a client going out and buying a $4,000 router just because they could, and then installing it and going, okay, we're safe. Of course, they would have me install it anyway, but yeah.
So I did find the story that we were supposed to cover. It's way too long for this, what's left of the segment, but I did find it interesting that you've got this ICO, right? The Nebulous Project, right? And they're telling people straight up, after they've raised $60 million in December, it will be 10 years before you get anything.
Oh my God. That's like saying that's saying we took your money and ran, but we don't want the bad publicity.
No.
10 years is an eternity in technology. Blockchain will be irrelevant and replaced by then.
Says that 20% of the initial supply, or 20 million NAS tokens, were set aside for the team and founders to be gradually released over a 3-year period. But based on a new blog post published last week, the timeline for the token release, well, it's being extended considerably. For the developer team, the start date for the gradual distribution will be postponed for a year. And for the founders of the network, the distribution doesn't start for a full decade.
Okay, well, those are the founders. I'm sure they could help themselves to it anytime they wanted.
Well, it's a move that's already winning nods of approval from an industry seeking to develop best practices. Ryan Selkis, a founder of the token data source Messari, said that he believes a multi-year vesting schedule should become a standard for new token companies. The best way to align founder incentives
is more the question I'm interested in. Why does the world need their token? What does their token do?
Nothing. It facilitates investment in their idea.
Love it.
The hell do you mean? What does it do? It's a token. It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't even toke.
See? Tom gets it. It doesn't do anything at all.
Well, I believe it. That's most tokens.
It's not supposed to do anything. It facilitates investment in their wallets. I mean, company. That's why people like the 10-year release thing. Is if you give them money, you know the guy who's like, hey, give me money, doesn't get the money for 10 years. So, at the very least, if you're broke, so's he. He's not going to get to enjoy the fact he ripped you off, at least for a decade. You may get lucky, he could be dead by then.
He's got the money.
Oh, that's right. No, with the tokens.
Well, that they weren't invested in with tokens, though.
Oh, that's right. Oh, well. Anyway, Crypto Hour is over. We'll be back after this.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, August 13th, 2018. Silver's trading at $15.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,199 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,454. Antiwar.com reports a pair of 5-story residential buildings collapsed Sunday in northern Syria's Idlib province after the rebel arms depot in the basement exploded. At least 39 civilians were killed in the incident, including a number of children. Details are still emerging on exactly what caused the explosion, but early reports suggest an accident. The explosion tore the facade off the building it was beneath, doing disastrous amounts of damage. As of Sunday evening, aid workers were still pulling bodies from the wreckage, and the death toll could thus rise further. The explosion took place in the village of Sarmada along the border with Turkey. The location of such a large depot so close to Turkey suggests that the rebels may have been smuggling weapons in through that area. Idlib is expected to be the center of a major battle in the months to come, as it is effectively the last major rebel-held territory in Syria, and the Assad government has said that, failing any negotiated deal, they will reunify the country by force. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. UPI reports the largest of several wildfires burning throughout the state of California destroyed nearly 30 homes over the weekend, according to fire officials on Sunday. The Mendocino Complex fire, made up of the ranch and river fires, destroyed a total of 146 homes as of Sunday morning, up from 119 on Thursday, according to CAL FIRE. Another 118 non-residential structures were destroyed by the blaze, and 37 structures were damaged, including 13 residences. Overall, 1,025 structures remain threatened by the 331,399-acre wildfire, which became the largest in California's history last week. CAL FIRE said the blaze is about 70% contained as of Sunday morning and is expected to be fully contained by September 1st. A total of 3,422 fire personnel have been assigned to combat the blaze, and 2 firefighters have sustained injuries. There have been no reports of civilian deaths or injuries related to that fire. Mandatory evacuation orders remained in effect for Lake, Mendocino, and Colusa counties as of Sunday. CAL FIRE officials said the 191,211-acre Carr fire was 59% contained as of Sunday morning. A total of 8 people have been killed in that blaze, including 2 firefighters. The fire has also destroyed 1,077 residences, 22 commercial structures, and 500 outbuildings, and damaged 191 residences, 21 commercial structures, and 65 outbuildings. More than 4,600 firefighters have responded to that blaze, which began on July 23rd as a result of a mechanical failure of a vehicle. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a white nationalist rally in the heart of Washington, D.C. drew about 24 demonstrators and thousands of chanting counter-protesters on Sunday, the one-year anniversary of racially charged violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. A large police presence kept the two sides separated in Lafayette Square in front of the White House. After 2 hours and a few speeches, the Unite the Right to rally ended early when it began to rain, and 2 police vans took the demonstrators back to Virginia. Sunday's events, while tense at times, were a far cry from the street brawls that broke out in downtown Charlottesville a year ago when a local woman was killed by a man who drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. Unite the Right to had been denied a permit in Charlottesville this year, but did secure one for Washington, D.C. Organizers had planned for up to 400 protesters. At the head of the white nationalist group was Virginia activist Jason Kessler, who organized last year's events in Charlottesville. He emerged with a handful of fellow demonstrators from a subway station holding the American flag and walked towards the White House ringed by police, while counter-protesters taunted the group and called them Nazis. Police said as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday, they had made no arrest and further would not give a crowd estimate. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A new report from the National Center for Education shows that an alarming 10% of U.S. high school students graduate without basic object permanence skills. According to the study, a growing number of American seniors are lagging behind their international counterparts when it comes to the crucial knowledge that things don't just disappear if you're not looking at them.
Because it exists even if your eyes can't see it. Am I making sense?
No. U.S. high schoolers have dropped to 17th in science, 25th in math, and a troubling 180th place in the basic cognitive awareness most humans develop as toddlers. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan is asking Congress to fund increased after-school disguise and reveal programs.
It's time to get the kids excited to learn the most obvious mental concepts that make us capable of functioning.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do better. It's just I don't know how I'm supposed to learn anything if I don't even have a teacher.
I'm still here, Vanessa.
Some educators worry that too much focus placed on object permanence might take away from other important skills, such as not touching hot things that could burn you.
This is the Onion News Network.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
The Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are, we're about to get into a third hour of our philosophical. I'm sorry, somebody just was the most random. Why? Why what? Why what?
Was this on Discord?
Yeah. I was like, Call to Freedom gives away free crypto daily between 4 and 7 p.m. And the response is, why?
Because we can.
For real. Because we have sponsors that give us cryptocurrencies to give away for free so that we can keep our faucet filled. Because they have...
Wait, I've got a better one. Because it makes us happy.
There we go. Going along with our earlier discussion.
It gives us the happiness that our various faiths or lack thereof direct us to pursue. Except for Nietzsche, and Nietzsche can suck it.
Tom, I'm gonna get vicious on your Bible, dude.
All right, so before we
at least Nietzsche never advocated slavery and murder and genocide and human sacrifice. We can say that in favor of Nietzsche.
No, neither does the Bible.
Oh, yes, it does, Tom. Jephthah was commanded by God to sacrifice his daughter. And he did so.
And no, he didn't.
Yes, he did, Tom. Read it. It's in the book of Judges. No, Tom. Jephthah. Gepthah. Look it up. Jephthah is his name. And he very much did. He said, God, I will sacrifice to you the first thing that comes out of my house when I return from battle. And his daughter was the first thing that came out of the house. And she went up into the mountains and she welled her virginity, or however they put it. And then he killed her. Nietzsche never advocated that. So.
All right. Well, before we get out of the wheelhouse of what we actually are here to discuss this afternoon, the subject on the table is social rights and civil rights. Differences? Are they? Do they matter? Do they not? And can you really judge the person who sits across the desk from you simply by the clothing that they wear? What kind of person are they? Does a good person wear a suit? Does a bad person wear a bundling of rags?
Well, it would be hard to judge you from your appearance because you're wearing a tie-dye shirt and you got the full-on religious beard going on.
I know,
so
it's great.
like,
I was downtown and Keene, this old dude looked at me and he said, "Oh my God, a Sunni in a Grateful Dead shirt." I've seen it all.
So when you give advice, one of the things about adab, and this is really interesting to me, adab is the ability to know the place of things and to give things their proper due. So it's really translated as comportment or a type of discipline in which you recognize where things belong. And part of recognizing where things belong is to recognize where you belong in relation to social hierarchies. I mean, one of the things that this culture almost never talks about, it talks about civil rights a lot, or human rights, but it rarely, in fact, I don't think it's ever mentioned the idea of social rights. Is your right to have equality in society, you see, because that's a quote-unquote ideal of democracy. People are equal, but in fact, they're not. In this culture, it's very clear that there are social hierarchies. And if you fall at the bottom of one, woe unto you if you try to crash the party of a higher rank in society. So social rights are never talked about. In the Islamic tradition, one of the really interesting things about Islam is it teaches us that there is an internal hierarchy that is known only to God. And therefore, it challenges you to recognize that everyone outside yourself may be better than you in the eyes of God. And so you have to have comportment with everybody, even a person that you might think is lower in social standing, they could be higher in spiritual standing. And this is why you had kings at the doors of beggars in the history of Islam. There's no other religion that I know of that has that quality, where you had literally kings at the doors of beggars asking for their prayers. The other thing that is really interesting is in this culture, you won't get people from Black Hawk or from Los Gatos going to church in East Oakland. It's just not the way the society works. And yet in the Muslim world, the richest man could pray next to the most impoverished man in the same prayer line. And it's always been like that. And that is something really unusual about Islam, is it creates a true brotherhood. There's a recognition that people have things in the world that Allah has given them and other people lack. But that does not prevent you from seeing this person as essentially equal before God, and possibly, and in fact, probably, according to most of the hadiths about rich people and poor people, the poor person is probably closer to God than you are. And that instills in you a desire to actually be kind to them, because you're actually worried that you might upset your Lord by having any contempt or even just simply treating them less than they deserve.
All right, so there we go. Tom, now you have had more time than the rest of us to because you had to listen before we got started. Is Tom even there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I was
Go ahead.
because I had listened to this earlier. I was actually looking up the biblical story that Arya referenced earlier. And by the way, the crux of the story is that God did not ask for that sacrifice. And
is God not in control of everything that happens, Tom?
He is, and
okay, then God asked for it, God demanded it, and God accepted it. God never said, "Hey, don't kill your daughter."
God did not accept it because that judge went on to fail miserably and get destroyed by the Ammonites.
That was not the deal, Tom. Read it again. The deal was
Except
that when he returned,
the oath, God never asked for it, and it's an illustration of how wicked the Israelites were at the time, because they were making sacrifices that God didn't ask for in the pagan style.
I don't know what part of the Bible you're getting that from, but that is not at all what it says.
That's what a lot of the book of Judges is about. But God did not ever assent to the sacrifice, and that judge ended up being a miserable failure.
Tom, you have the story wrong, and you need to read it again because you have the order. You have the order of events incorrect. He made this agreement with God before he went to battle, and when he came back. When he came back, yes, when he came back successfully. No, Tom, that's after the fact. That's after the fact. The agreement was before he sacrificed his daughter, he would go to battle. Well, there
was no agreement. God wasn't a part of the agreement.
Well, God didn't say, "Hey, dude, don't do this."
He said it himself. Yeah, God didn't say to do it.
He made him victorious in battle. He made him victorious in battle.
This was after. No, he wasn't victorious in battle. He ended up falling.
Afterward. But we're talking about beforehand. The reason he sacrificed his daughter was because he was victorious.
And then after he
forget
did the
after
thing God
because he had already done it.
He failed miserably.
But he had already done it.
What more
because he was successful in
God
battle.
doesn't want something than miserable failure.
He wouldn't have been successful in the first place.
Miserable failure.
He was successful the first time, Tom. That's why he sacrificed his daughter.
All right, guys, we'll be back right after this.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Why did you move to the Shire? I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from our Zencash studios here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And, we've been trying, or at least I was trying, to have a discussion of social rights versus
we can do that now.
Civil rights. And one of the points, I guess, that people would initially make is that social rights are rights that aren't protected by law in America, but I would have to contest that that's not true. Social rights are enforced by law in America so long as your social rights are higher than the person that you're trying to have law enforcement used against.
I would like more examples of what is meant by social rights, because he only mentioned equality, and I would dispute that we have social. I don't think we have any right to equality, because how other people treat us is dependent on their beliefs, their opinions, their demeanor, and
social
they have free
rights
will
would be,
or appear to as much as anyone else.
Social are based on social hierarchy, which some people try to act like doesn't exist in the United States because we don't have lords and dukes and duchesses. But tell that to the people living in Beverly Hills, or tell that to the people who live in East and the people who live in East Oakland.
So what might another example be?
For social hierarchical rights, it would be like some people just demand to be treated a certain way because of their financial status.
Right. We don't have a right to that, though.
They feel they do. And that's...
Well, feeling like a girl doesn't give me a vagina.
Again, that comes back to what I was saying, is that supposedly social rights are those quote-unquote rights that you feel you have that aren't enforced by law. But if you are on the bottom end of the social strata and your right to dig through the garbage can is violated by some rich person because they hit it with their car, guess what? The police don't care. But if you're that homeless person and that rich person feels like they've got a right to just simply not have homeless people in their neighborhood, then guess what? The police will enforce that.
Okay, so social rights are these generally state-sanctioned privileges.
Basically.
That certain people have.
Well, they're
and
not
state-sanctioned
privileges. Not officially.
They sound more like powers than privileges.
Not officially. They're not officially privileges, but they exist as that.
Oh, yeah. The
I
rich man is never gonna get...
you know what? I paid $75,000 for this house, and $750,000 for this house to be in this neighborhood, so I wouldn't have to look at homeless people. Could you please come get this thing out of my neighborhood? And cops will come and do that.
Yeah.
But if you're displeased with something that you feel like, you're Bob the bum, and Joe the bum just come and took your bottle of liquor from you, guess what? Cops don't really care. You're a couple of bums fighting over a bottle of liquor.
You're likely to get beaten to death for calling.
Yeah, I was
the
about to
cops.
say.
I mean,
they'll
just
come and
look at what happened to Kelly Thomas.
Yeah, they'll come and accuse you of distributing liquor without a license because somebody else has the liquor that you had first.
Right. So for me, you have to treat the jerk off that lives in Beverly Hills socially, or as far as like respect as a human being, the same way as you do Bob the Bum. That it's just simply something that's expected of you as a human being. To simply just treat other human, that this is
That's expected within
faith
your
tradition,
faith and mine.
within my faith tradition. That you,
that's why I'm thinking how I feel about it.
Yeah, that you.
I'll need a minute.
That you should treat Bob the Bum the same way as you treat Trump, because you don't know if Bob the Bum is actually a good person whose life fell apart during the crash, or and his wife died. Or like, I met a guy when I was feeding the homeless that he was on the streets because his wife and child were killed in a car accident and he gave up on life. Because that's what happens to people.
Now, what is the harder part of that for those of us in today's society? The harder part of that is the teaching that you have to treat Donald Trump the same way that you treat Bob the Bum.
Oh no! Even the most diehard liberals still treat homeless people with absolute disdain.
Oh yeah,
and they may dislike Trump and they may hate him.
They just don't say they hate homeless people.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't say it because you shouldn't say things like that. But they'll say they hate Trump. You know, like Trump's evil. He's a racist. He's a sexist.
Yeah.
You know, well, that homeless guy could be those things too. You know, like just because he's homeless doesn't make him virtuous.
I would say that the homeless guy, you know, he needs them. He needs their help.
Yeah, and that doesn't make him virtuous, though.
No, but they express their greater disdain for him by not helping.
Oh,
whereas
yeah,
Trump doesn't need any help from them.
Which also doesn't make him virtuous.
No, disregarding virtue, it doesn't matter if they hate Trump or not because it doesn't have any impact on Trump's well-being. But it matters significantly if they hate the homeless.
Tom, would you agree that as far as like the dominionist evangelical Christian, that wealth disparity does decide whether or not you should treat someone like a human, that you should treat the guy at the top of the heap better, and the guy at the bottom of the heap like garbage?
I would say that's not Christianity, but I would say that there are a lot of people who slap Christianity on that viewpoint these days.
Well, that's why I said dominionism, because dominionism is the branch of Christianity really that has that whole like, what's it called?
Antichrist?
Well, no, it's a doctrine.
Dogma.
The richness doctrine. It's something about being wealthy and God loves
you're
prosperity doctrine. Yeah, God loves the wealthy and he hates the poor.
Yeah, I don't like those people.
That's like an inversion of what Jesus taught.
It is.
Well, but Paul said it.
Not in the way they think.
Not in the way that they put it. Basically, Paul said, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Except he was referring to
people that were scamming. There were people scamming the church, basically.
Yeah, people who were coming into church and who could afford their own food, by the way, but who were coming to all the church functions just to get a free pass, and who then were not doing things like helping with the worship service or helping clean up afterwards or doing anything else good for anyone else like they were supposed to.
So they take that and interpret it to... if you're an invalid and you can't feed yourself, well, then you should just starve to death. It's not my problem to take care of you. You die.
And ironically, the people who preach this usually are not.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid. This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card. And the sign-up bonus? Enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Free Talk Live.
Wait till you hear the least popular girl's name for 2004. We'll start with Rack. Crumpet.
Well, Crumpet's kind of funny.
Someone named their little girl Willie. Cannelloni. Cannelloni. Lasagna. Tasty.
And Biff.
Yeah, Biff. The
These
least
are girls'
popular name.
names.
the least popular name.
These
of
are all
2004.
made up, folks.
I
Do
don't
not
care.
believe this nonsense. This is not news.
I don't care. I haven't laughed this much all week. This may be my favorite. Rumpy Pumpy. Now, how could you think that one up? I mean, if you were faking this list, I could understand that you could fake Donald Duck or Scrooge or pork. But how do you think of Rumpy Pumpy?
Rumpy Pumpy.
RUMPEPUMPEE. Rumpy Pumpy.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right. Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Zencash studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And I have been vindicated. Well, somewhat at least. The Independent.uk is finally acknowledging something that I've been talking about since Trump got elected and the whole Russia thing even got started. And that's Well, if you think Russia interferes in our elections, you ought to see what Israel does. Now, I know you guys, a lot of you hate this old guy. Get over it.
A huge issue of interference in our pristine elections. Did the Russians interfere in our elections? An issue of overwhelming concern in the media. I mean, in most of the world, that's almost a joke. First of all, if you're interested in foreign interference in our elections, whatever the Russians may have done barely counts weighs in the balance as compared with what another state does openly, brazenly, and with enormous support. Israeli intervention in U.S. elections vastly overwhelms anything the Russians may have done. I mean, even to the point where the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, goes directly to Congress without even informing the president and speaks to Congress with overwhelming applause to try to undermine the president's policies. What happened with Obama and Netanyahu in 2015.
So, tell me, what other world leaders have the right to bypass and go directly, like...
Well, I mean, I don't think it's even the election interference that people have an issue with as much as it is they lost.
They hate Trump, so like,
well,
yeah.
They lost, so they want to hate and blame somebody, and Trump isn't scratching the itch. Somehow, I don't know how they are not content to simply hate Trump, and they have to drag an entire nation into it.
Well, that certainly doesn't explain the people on the right who are now like, okay,
oh no, they
Russia
hated Trump
clearly
too.
interfered.
I mean, look.
No, like even the people who have been Trump loyalists are like, the president really needs to stop messing with this because Russia really did something bad and he needs to back off and let us find out what.
Well, that's what I was getting at. It's mostly about hating Russia.
Again, though,
it's not
Israel
about
has
Russian
been
interference.
doing this for a while. Okay.
Right, because we don't care about the election interference. It's just we hate Russia.
Actually, and this just came out from New York Post. Pro-Israel people are pissed about this. Special counsel Robert Mueller has sent his gumshoes to Israel. They're reportedly looking into an Israeli firm that may have, quote, led a social media manipulation effort designed to help elect President Trump.
May have. To elect Trump.
May have. Well, they gave
there's
Hillary.
Two parts of that because I mean we've covered the actual news story that had the briefings in it and all of that of the Israeli government offering college students money to spread pro-Israel propaganda.
Yeah.
So I mean we know for a fact that happened, but
it has been since like 2011.
But to elect Trump?
Well, I guess what they did was they gave Hillary all the money and they gave Trump all, or it could have been both. You know. Actively.
So which of these trolls online are Russian and which are Israeli?
Right? That's the deal. It's the latest.
I know how to figure it out. The ones dropping bombs on school buses are Israeli.
Yeah. It's the latest tangent of the sprawling.
Unless the school buses are Ukrainian.
Touche.
Oh, the audio clip was Noam Chomsky. It's the latest tangent in a sprawling collusion inquiry. And the move lays bare a glaring hypocrisy. After all, if the United States wants to investigate meddling in foreign elections, Israel is a great place to look.
Well, the CIA is the first place to
for
look.
the reasons that Mueller and co. think. Just a few years ago, in 2015, then President Barack Obama threw everything he had. Yeah, there we go. That's the end of it. And this is him crying and pissing and moaning because Obama didn't like Netanyahu. So, yeah. He's angry that Mueller is looking into Israel and their role in doing the same exact thing the Russians did, which is using social media to influence U.S. elections through a coordinated government-sponsored effort.
Well, I mean, I use social media to influence the election.
Yeah, but you're an American citizen.
I did the same for the UK vote on Brexit, though. Use social media to attempt to influence the election.
Well,
should I be investigated?
If you ran afoul of UK law, maybe, but
hold on. How did the Russians run afoul of U.S. law? By limiting
That's
this.
what we're investigating. We're trying to figure out exactly what they
so
did.
the UK government should investigate me first.
But the specifics of what we know so far are myriad violations of the Computer Crimes Act.
Okay, well, that
Computer Fraud
aside,
Abuse Act.
I mean, let's restrict it for the moment to what we know, which is the social media thing. What is the difference between me attempting to influence?
We know a lot more than that.
We don't have concrete facts in regard to the rest. I mean, yeah, there's that woman who worked with the KGB or whatever. But all of that aside, because the vast majority of it was a social media campaign, and that's the topic with Israel here. What is the difference between me executing a social media campaign to attempt to influence the Brexit vote and Russians or Israelis doing it to attempt to influence the American presidential election?
I mean, I just told you it goes beyond just talking up a position.
No, what it is,
what they've been accused of.
What it is that I'm American, so I can do what I want. That's the difference. And these other people are not, so they can only do what we allow them to do. They can only do what we say. And if we say you can't do that, they have to listen or they have to get dropped bombs on. With the exception of Israel, because we turn a blind eye to them, which it sounds like Mueller is attempting to actually look their direction and is making people angry in the process.
Yeah. He's got the New York Times, the New York Post coming after him, so...
But I mean, it seems to me that that's what it ultimately comes down to is I'm an American. My country is America. We can do what we want. I can do what I want. And if anybody else tries that...
This is a perfect storm for Israel, too, because they can't get rid of... they're stuck with Mueller. They're stuck with him because Trump can't get rid of him. Oh, my God. Could you imagine what would happen if Trump dismissed Mueller?
You just wait until after the election.
Why can't Trump get rid of Mueller?
Because the thing that's holding Trump off right now...
Getting rid of Mueller is the thing that will get him impeached. It looks like he's trying to stop an investigation into him. And it's too blatant.
Well, he is.
Well, regardless, it's too blatant for him to fire Mueller, which is what Israel will want. Israel's going to be like, he needs to go. And
so Mueller is
Trump's
kind of using that political immunity to investigate Israel at the same time.
He has total immunity. He could do whatever he wants right now. He could investigate anybody. He could announce who really killed Kennedy, and they still wouldn't be able to touch him because of the fact that he's investigating Trump right now, and half of the country hates Trump. And the other half of the country, there's got to be a reasonable percentage of them that will change their view of what's going on if Trump fires the man who is actively investigating him. You know, it's too improper. It smacks of
Nixon. It smacks of Nixon.
Exactly, and he just can't do it. All right, well, when we get back here in just a moment, we are going to move on. We're going to be talking about autism, children, and CBD. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our cannabis news segment right after this.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict, or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे.
Let's focus our discussion first on marijuana, okay? Marijuana has a very distinct smell, okay? I'm going to pass around just a little tiny bit, and I want you all to take a smell so you know when someone is smoking marijuana near you.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our ZenCast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And it is time for your only libertarian source for cannabis news on a regular basis, at least. The Call to Freedom's Cannabis News segment. Brought to you by, well, by nobody yet, because we haven't fixed that problem yet. But we will. Just give me some time. We will. Now, let's see here. Turns out that there was a study done recently. This is really good news with all the parents dealing with their kids these days, with all these, the problem of autism just suddenly is a thing, and I get, bull that it's just the better ability to diagnose this. You don't have 80% increases in a mental health issue because they have a better ability. You mean like ADD?
Right. So what we had there was medicine.
I invented a new disease to go along with this medicine that we have.
Like restless leg syndrome.
Well, we have Israeli researchers here that have found more compelling evidence that medical cannabis is an effective therapy for children with autism. In this soon-to-be-published study in the Journal of Neurology, researchers treated autistic children with high concentrations of CBD, a non-intoxicating cannabinoid found in the cannabis plant. Conditions in 80% of the children improved. Alternatively, the children had not shown improvement with conventional drug therapies. The study up close? Well, the study was led by the director of pediatric neurology at Jerusalem's Sher Zedek Hospital, Dr. Adi Aran, who treated 60 children with high CBD cannabis oil. That's 20% CBD and 1% THC. The children were treated for at least 7 months with the oil. After the treatment period, parents answered assessment questionnaires to characterize their child's condition. Questions were asked about behavioral changes, anxiety levels, and ability to communicate. 80% of parents noted a decrease in problematic behaviors, with 62% reporting significant improvements. Half the children had improved communications, and 40% reported significant decreases in anxiety. 1/3 of the study participants began with no anxiety. Just as Israel is so that means 40%, take 1/3 of the study participants out. So 1/3 of 60 is 20. So 40% of 40 noticed a significant decrease in their anxiety levels. So, yeah, like 18 out of 40 people.
That's an alternative hypothesis for the rise of autism is how we've, the removal of
cannabinoids from the...
Yeah, we took them out of the environment, so the animals that we're eating and the water that we're drinking no longer carries any of it.
Yeah. That's a really good... Actually, with this study, that is a reasonable hypothesis, really.
Either way, we need to stop doing things that we have no idea what the long-term implications of them will be, other than the fact that, hey, this will probably have some kind of long-term effect on the human evolution.
This will get me elected.
Yeah.
We need things that are thought of in terms further than this will get me elected.
Definitely. Or we need to stop.
This will keep me in office.
We need to stop asking whether or not we can do something and stop for a moment to ask whether or not we should. Like, sure, we can.
All right there, Ian Malcolm.
Who?
Right. The guy who said that originally. That
who was
quote, Ian Malcolm.
Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
You were so obsessed with the
other people beat him to it. I got it from the documentary Food Inc.
Stop to ask whether you should.
Yeah. You have a terrible Jeff Goldblum. Just as Israel is a pioneer in medical cannabis research, Aran, A-R-A-N, it's hard to say this name without it sounding like Iran, is a pioneer in cannabinoid therapy for autism. Aran originally began a 2017 project to test 120 autistic children. It was the first study of its kind worldwide, and it was made possible by the Israeli government's funding and progressive approach to cannabis research. Aran said that when word of the study got out, his waiting lists were soon filled with many families from all over Israel who wanted to participate. Autism spectrum disorders are neurodevelopmental in nature, usually appearing in infancy or early childhood and lasting a lifetime. More severe cases have debilitating symptoms, including compulsive, repetitive behaviors, impaired social skills, and communications. Some children can't speak at all. Autism affects about 1% of people worldwide. The causes of autism are not understood, and there's no cure, and the prevalence is climbing. 2018, the CDC updated its autism prevalence estimates to 1 in 59 children from 1 in 166 in 2004. Doctors traditionally treat symptoms with antipsychotic medications, which have harmful side effects. Some children don't respond to these medications. Aaron began small
They're also not
autism
psychotic
research studies after similar cannabis studies on epilepsy, a disease that affects about 20% of autistic children. While studying epilepsy, researchers discovered that certain cannabis compounds would likely also help some autism symptoms. Less than 2% of the general population has autism, but up to epilepsy, but up to 33% of people with autism suffer from epilepsy. Neuroscientist Dr. Thomas Duell of the Swedish Hospital in Seattle says that there's definitely a connection. While scientists do not clearly understand the reason behind the relationship, they suspect that the different brain development which occurs in autistic children is more likely to create circuits that cause epileptic seizures. That link has caused many parents to seek out cannabis treatments for their autistic children. Parents certainly have anecdotal evidence of the effectiveness of CBD oil on their autistic children, but mainstream medicine has remained skeptical due to the lack of data. With most conditions treated with cannabis, anecdotal evidence and personal experience far outweigh actual peer-reviewed scientific research. There's a 2015 Harvard study, and Boston Children's Hospital published a baseline review of cannabis autism studies so far, showing that the research did show promise, but nothing definitive could be said about cannabis's ability to improve pediatric patients. The Harvard review stated that most research was animal-based and didn't show translational impact to human subjects. In fact, the review concluded with a cautionary statement that cannabis treatment should be used as a last resort. After all, conventional therapies have failed.
Yeah, I mean, let's, shove a bunch of pills down their throat first. And
well,
then
who do you think
if
pays
all
for the
of that
studies?
fails, we can go, okay, well, I guess let them smoke this plant. Okay?
How much money is going to Harvard from these companies, though?
If the Zoloft and all of the other antipsychotics that you're giving patients who are not psychotic fail to work and just make them suicidal or prone to go on killing sprees, then you can let them smoke a plant.
You had weapons manufacturers who had sponsored the engineering department at UCF.
Our species is insane, man. I've never meant that to the
I want to say it's
that
Lockheed.
I mean it right now. Our species is insane,
Yeah.
psychotic. We all need antipsychotics.
Yeah, they're in the it's because they're in the water. They made us psychotic in the womb.
I would say we could get rid of this psychosis by getting rid of the parasites who are ruling us, including the pharmaceutical companies trying to shove pills down our throat because smoking a plant just might be too harmful. But here, take this thing that will cause your liver to fall out.
For real, yo. Like right now, this thing, like before, like with the prostatitis, like before, I felt like I had to pee really bad all the time. And now I feel like I have to pee bad all the time. And I'm nauseous 24 hours a day. Because that's a solution. In 6 weeks, I'll be fine. I'll have a doctor's appointment in 7. Awesome.
Well, you're lucky they didn't prescribe you something for the nausea. They gave you a headache.
Or knock me unconscious.
I mean, if you called them and asked them, that's what they would do.
Oh, jeez. All right. Anyway, tomorrow we'll be back with, we'll have Chris from Think Penguin and me and Aria, and we'll have lots to discuss. So come back tomorrow. But don't go anywhere right now because we got Free Talk Live coming up next.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, August 13th, 2018. Silver's trading at $15.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,199 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,454. Antiwar.com reports a pair of 5-story residential buildings collapsed Sunday in northern Syria's Idlib province after the rebel arms depot in the basement exploded. At least 39 civilians were killed in the incident, including a number of children. Details are still emerging on exactly what caused the explosion, but early reports suggest an accident. The explosion tore the facade off the building it was beneath, doing disastrous amounts of damage. As of Sunday evening, aid workers were still pulling bodies from the wreckage, and the death toll could thus rise further. The explosion took place in the village of Sarmada along the border with Turkey. The location of such a large depot so close to Turkey suggests that the rebels may have been smuggling weapons in through that area. Idlib is expected to be the center of a major battle in the months to come, as it is effectively the last major rebel-held territory in Syria, and the Assad government has said that, failing any negotiated deal, they will reunify the country by force. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. UPI reports the largest of several wildfires burning throughout the state of California destroyed nearly 30 homes over the weekend, according to fire officials on Sunday. The Mendocino Complex fire